Hello, LCAD.
Hello.
I'm a bit of a talker, but I'm also nervous right now because there's so many people like me. I've never been surrounded by this many capable minds, so I'm super inspired for everybody here. So here we go. They say you're a product of your environment, which I guess could be a good thing or a bad thing, but you know, depending on where you grew up and how you're raised, considering we're all here, I think you were raised pretty well. So, about that, I'm the son of the very first African American coach in Oregon State history. I get emotional every time I say it. He was a basketball coach, and I was actually terrible at basketball. Awful. Both my parents were teachers, and they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, which I guess would explain why I'm here. But oddly enough, my folks don't surf, have never surfed, so that's kind of strange. But I really consider myself an educator. I might not be a teacher, but I've been schooling the surfboard industry on sustainability for almost 20 years. So how the heck did I get into surfboards? I'm from Oregon. Basketball coach's, yes, basketball coach's son. I was into sports, but just not good at the traditional ones. Basketball, football, terrible at it. But I guess again, shout out to my dad. Instead of just thrusting the basketball into my crib, he gave me swimming lessons. So I started swimming and skiing, and you know, he put me on little mini custom water skis when I was 3. Like I could barely freaking swim. So, water baby. I was born a water baby, but when you're not good at sports, you generally gravitate towards something else, and I'm blessed in that I was born an artist. I was always sketching, I was always drawing, playing with Legos. I think I was 10 when my dad, again, being the basketball coach, gave me some Jordans, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm gonna start drawing mine. So I started sketching my own Jordans, and my mom saw this and just kind of cultivated this artist, this little nerdy little dude, and just kind of pushed me, you know, and because my folks were both teachers, not going to college was never really an option. So there was one sport I was good at. I was pretty into track and field, and I was into pole vault. And in high school, my pole vault coach was Tinker Hatfield, and he is basically considered the GOAT at Nike. He's, I think, he should be retired by now. He's in year like 43 or 44, but he's designed some of the most iconic Jordans, Air Maxes, you name it. And he was a mentor to me and basically pushed me, saw me sketch my own shoes, said this is what you gotta do. So, long story short, I went to school, got my degree, got my dream job, and I lasted 6 months and bailed and moved to California and started surfing. Folks love that. Folks love that. So, what do you do when you want to surf all day and you gotta pay the bills? I started bartending. So that started to fund my little shaping habit, which I picked up within about a year of moving down here. And honestly, because I was an artist, I was like, it can't be that hard. I was wrong. So I was slugging away at it for about 5 years, and huge thank you, she's not here, she'll hear this at some point, but huge thank you to my spouse, my rock, Regina, who's a bartender. She basically said, look dude, you're talented, I got your back, quit messing around, quit bartending, do this full time. So I hung up my shaker tin and my bar towel and started shaping full time. So after about 5 years of that, we're gonna get and steer this towards sustainability. Surfboards are not sustainable. They weren't when I started doing them. So after working with traditionally toxic materials for 5 years, by happenstance, I met the inventor of bioepoxy, and it did not exist until this point. And that is Ray Bonatell. You guys look him up. He's a genius. He works for Google X now. We're going to be partnering on something which I'll talk about in a sec. So that invention kick-started the EcoBoard movement. Sustainability, eco-boards, that wasn't even a thing when I started doing it. And a lot of naysayers were, you know, boards, eco, what? So I basically made a commitment to the environment then, so I'm never going to use traditionally toxic materials and carve my own path. And that's what I did. And in 2011, I built and launched the very first sustainable surfboard factory. People thought I was crazy, but eventually we started working with the major labels, Kelly Slater, and some other big names. And by working with these big labels and professional athletes, it validated the entire EcoBoard movement, which felt pretty good because people thought I was nuts. So 5 years later, I relocated to Torrance, and when I say surfboards are toxically made, so you can switch and make them with eco-friendly materials, bio-epoxy, but they're very wasteful. So the number I want to give you is this traditional shortboard that most people buy and the pros ride. They weigh about 6 pounds, but 12 pounds of waste is generated to make that said board. Annually, there are 400,000 surfboards. You know, you don't need to be a mathematician to figure out that it's just incredibly wasteful. So fed up with it and fired up, I basically did another something that hadn't been done before, and I launched the Zero Waste Initiative, which basically closed the loop on surfboard manufacturing waste. Yes, we generate it, but we would upcycle all the waste into new products. So just coasters, planners, there's a bajillion other things, but that was the start of it. So yeah, I've been shaping and carving my own path, and I want you to also well. If a black dude from Oregon who didn't grow up surfing can become an EcoBoard pioneer and leader, you can do anything. Right? So, the role of design and sustainability. Designers play significant roles in shaping the world around us, and their choices can either contribute to or mitigate environmental harm. The power of design can not only inspire positive change, but also promote sustainable living practices. There's a few examples. I gotta keep this short because I could go on forever. But Firewire Surfboards, that's a huge label. They actually use the bio-epoxy. Zero plastic packaging, they're one of the only surfboard companies that does it. Patagonia, you guys know Patagonia, they're like the GOAT. They've been around forever. They kind of set the bar. But, you know, I gotta point out my shoes. I'm a huge sneakerhead, right? And being a Nike guy, I gotta highlight it's like Space Hippie line, and it's they're pretty loud, they're very bright, but that's not the point. They're made of 75% upcycled, recycled content. I believe Adidas has an algae-based foam in their midsoles as well. This is really cool. And then underneath this gown, I'm rocking, and it's just a basic t-shirt, but it's everywhere apparel. And I launched my own kind of sustainable clothing line to complement the boards, and I thought organic this and hemp and organic cotton, that's great. But what Everywhere does is they make recycled cotton blank shirts and hoodies. So one t-shirt saves 800 gallons of water annually, which is crazy. So you get a shirt, they send you a bag, you send your old shirts, they recycle it. It's pretty cool. So, y'all are the next generation of designers and artists. Whether it's graphic, product, apparel, experimental tech, sustainable or circular solutions, gaming, entertainment, animation or illustration, harness your creative talents to address pressing environmental issues and champion sustainability in your future careers. Oh, this is my favorite. The world is your oyster. You can do anything. Yeah. I created a zero-waste surfboard factory that hadn't been done before, and I didn't even grow up surfing, so y'all can do anything. And now, my latest venture is probably even crazier. Steve mentioned, I'm building something at Altasea. Altasea is a sustainable campus in LA, in the new LA waterfront, and it's a sustainable business incubator, so I'm super rad that they let this little backyard shaper in. But it's the first of its kind, and I'm also building something that's the first of its kind there. It's called the ECOS, and it's short for the First Recycling and Educational Center of Sustainability in Surf, and the goal is to make anything I can think of in this crazy head out of plastic trash. We kind of have an endless supply of a pretty strong, resilient material that's polluting our whole planet, i.e. plastic, so we got to use it. Y'all use it, design with it, run with it. So in conclusion, and to wrap this up, small actions can lead to significant change, and you each have the power to make a positive impact on the planet. There's these in the back, so remember this. Take a small pebble and throw it in a pond, and you get ripples. Enough ripples create waves. Here's your pebble, now make some waves of change. There's little pebbles on the back. They're LCAD colors, so get your pebble. Alright? And lastly, protect our oceans, protect our planet. Ocean conservation and the blue economy is our future. Shoo!